Episode 130. He's JP, I'm Jonah. No Christian. He's traveling right now, which kind of sucks because there's going to be nobody to really rein us in today. You know, I always love an excuse to record in July. I do, because it stinks to try and kind of curate some content during this period. The NHL season is, the offseason is dead, yada, yada. Everybody's made their moves, done their thing. Time's usually up. But we did get some Sabres news. Unfortunately, it's just not the kind that gets you excited. I mean, for some people it will be. And Bowen Byram, it's not the type of, it's not a universal thing, whether or not, you're happy or mad to see him. A lot of people are very happy to see him be re-signed. And I can understand why in a vacuum. And we even talked ourselves into the idea of him coming back, like individually, as being fine. Your top four on paper does look fine, but most of this episode's not going to be about the signing itself. I can basically promise you that.
Yeah, and it's unfortunate that we were debating recording last night. We could have broken news for the first time ever on.
Yeah, we were
on the Sabre roundtable, but yeah, I mean, it'll be an interesting episode.
The what?
Oh, never mind. It's not the Sabre roundtable. My bad. Sabre Report podcast. You could see
something.
Yeah,
old
you
habits.
could see who's the one who made a decision there. But yeah, it'll be interesting. Like, as a player, I don't necessarily dislike Byram that much. Like, I think he's a fine player. It's just the ramifications of not trading him, I think, just speaks a volume on what this whole offseason has been.
It's just it's the funniest end to this entire saga. I mean, talk about a player you thought was going to be gone maybe by the end of the NHL playoffs.
Seriously.
We were talking about maybe, I think some people might have said he would have been gone as early as the weekend the cup was raised. And then it got delayed. Then it was like, all right, he's definitely going before the draft. Then draft night came around. He was still on the roster. Then it's, okay, there's still time before free agency. We get into free agency. Oh, he might get offer sheeted, or, we're just going to wait to see, teams that didn't get a defenseman are going to circle back to really heat up the Bowen Byram market. I mean, hell, it was the fourth period, or was it the fourth period, or it might have been Saravalli. Somebody remarked that the Bowen Byram market was red hot. And here we are, mid-July, signed a 2-year deal. Just the most boring outcome, but also the funniest outcome, because just, of course he's sticking around after all of that build-up and belief that he was going to be just one of their main trade chips to help make the roster better. And it's just all the ramifications. I don't want to knock him so much. I mean, look, he's a very flawed player. That's not to say he is not a player you can't win with. You can win with Bowen Byram. Bowen Byram won a team a Stanley Cup, and legitimately, like, he wasn't carried. He was great during that run, but he just the ripple effect of him staying and what it means for the roster. I mean, it seems like they are done, and that is just the most. It is the most infuriating thing, and there's just too many things to break down. Like, if I'm looking at the final roster of the Buffalo Sabres right now, it looks so. There's just so much to pick apart because so much can go wrong. Somebody made a joke on Twitter today that a 10-team, that Terry Pegula and Kevin Adams are trying to hit a 10-leg parlay to get this team to the playoffs. And I think that's like the perfect metaphor or just analogy to use when describing this roster.
Yeah, it's just very lackluster. Our clip of the last podcast of me ranting, got quite a bit of traction. And I think it got some traction because Jonah put some rage bait on that and said I said disaster of an offseason. I didn't say that. I don't think we got worse. We're not Ken Holland
Disaster,
with
pathetic.
the Los Angeles
What's
Kings.
the difference?
Pathetic is like they just didn't do enough. Disasters, we legitimately got worse. I don't think we legitimately got substantially worse. I just don't think we got any better. And I can't really say we didn't. Like I just think it's a net neutral.
I mean, you did say at best it's a wash
What
of an off season.
That's what it is.
That implies they got worse.
I don't know. It's just it's a very lackluster off season.
Honestly, do you feel, because this is it? All right, they are not making another move. I will put it into the universe. If I'm wrong, good. It's another jinx, and they friggin' added. But what you are looking at right now is the Buffalo Sabres opening night roster. Are they a better team than night one of last season?
Night one of last season?
Night one. Prague.
Probably not.
I mean, I'll try to write down that roster based off memory.
I guess the top four is better, but you can't say the top six is better. And I mean, I think I don't know. I'll tell you what. It's not definitely better. Like if you think it's definitely better, like I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're looking at. Like it might be slightly better. It might be slightly better now that I'm thinking on it. But that's also kind of revisionist history because last year, we're thinking down on it because obviously Cousins wasn't good, Quinn wasn't good, and Samuelson got worse last year, and UPL was shit last year. So if going into the season, we didn't know how all those seasons were gonna go, I think we would definitely say that last year's roster was better. But with hindsight, I don't know.
I mean, yeah, I know hindsight's 2020, of course, but I don't know. You put it best. I mean, this offseason has amounted to trading a top six forward for a second pairing defenseman and a bottom six forward.
That's literally it. That was the only meaningful move that we made to a roster that missed the playoffs by 12 points. We added a second pair of defensemen and got rid of a top six forward. That's literally it. All these other moves don't really move the needle. Connor Timmins, yeah, he's an upgrade over Connor Clifton. Okay, he's going to be playing 12 minutes a night, and he's just our sixth defenseman. Justin Danforth is literally our biggest free agent signing. He's a fourth liner. Alex Lyon, I think is a good signing as our backup goalie. You're hoping he probably doesn't play more than 20, 25 games. Other than Kesselring, any of the guys you got aren't really going to be meaningful contributors. I think Doan has the possibility to do that, but I don't know exactly how.
I mean, I believe what you're looking at right now is, off the top of my head, the roster on the bottom is what they iced night one against the Devils. I mean, I don't know. I mean, first of all, I think everybody's just underrating how, what the trickle effect of Tage Thompson not playing center is. But okay, whatever. I mean, I don't know. I don't know which roster is better right away. I can tell you this: neither of them look like playoff teams.
Yeah, that's for sure.
There is a path to the playoffs for the Sabres. Of course there is. Of course there is. But there's a lot of what ifs, and this has to go right. This has to go right. And I can't. I feel like I say this all the time, or every year. But it's like, man, I can't believe this is all they did. I can't believe that this was the plan. I can't believe that after everything we've heard and everything that's happened. I mean, this is the year 15 roster. Year 15. Year 15 has a 20-year-old and a 21-year-old anchoring your first line.
Yep.
It has... I just hate that this is like what we have to work with now.
Yeah. It's just no urgency. No urgency at all for a team that missed the playoffs by 12 points last year. There's only one argument that I don't really completely disagree with when talking about, if the Sabres can be a playoff team this year, and it's that you're not counting on going on a 13-game losing streak like they did last year. If you win half those games, you're legitimately right in the mix. But
you lost those
you
games.
still lost those games.
2 of the last 3 seasons have amounted to, what if they didn't go on this long, the worst losing streak you've ever seen in your entire life?
Well, and part of the reason that we went on the big losing streak is because obviously Dahlin got hurt. So, okay, if Dahlin stays healthy the whole year, if everybody stays healthy, we can sure as hell be a playoff team. But if just one thing goes wrong, your lineup all of a sudden looks like absolute dog shit. Like, if Tage were to get hurt, we are screwed. If Dahlin...
Which happens every year.
Like, if Dahlin goes down, we're screwed. Like, other teams, good playoff teams, they can manage if one of their best players get hurt. At least manage for a time. We can't. Well, our best player gets hurt and we lose 13 games in a row.
I mean, they didn't win a game without Dahlin or Power in the lineup, right? Or they won once, right? How many games did they win after Power went down? 1? Was it just the last game of the season? So they went 1-12 without the 2 of them? Like, without just one of them being in the lineup. Like, those games without Power, they were still with Rasmus Dahlin, and it just completely fell apart. I don't hate the way their defense looks, but it's just, this is what I'm supposed to be sold on when it's a good group. It's a talented group. It's probably the best core they've iced in this drought. But it's not top, I don't know, where do they rank league-wide? Are they top, maybe top 10? They're not top. They're not top 5.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like any playoff team from last year might have a better overall group. I mean, Jesus, dude. How was Matthias Samuelsson go on this roster opening nights? How? How was that not something they could have gotten done? More reshaping, because they've transformed the defense, or this is the defense. This is the year it comes together. 4 guys from the team last year are still on it.
Yep. I've been seeing people say we've completely remade our defense and it's so good. We've made one meaningful change. One. Connor Timmins does not count. Okay, he's an upgrade over Clifton. He's our 6th defenseman who hopefully plays 12 minutes a night. You cannot count him as completely changing the defense. Completely changing the defense would be changing 2 of your top 4 defensemen. We only changed 1. Okay? Bringing in 1 meaningful impact defenseman is not substantially changing your defense. Kesselring is by far a huge upgrade over Yoki Haru. Hopefully they are never uttered in the same sentence. But adding 1 player does not completely change your defense core. It just doesn't. It's better. Yeah, no doubt it's better. It doesn't mean it's all of a sudden the best in the league, and it might be the strength of our team, but Kesselring and Power still have to hopefully have chemistry. If they don't, then what the hell are you doing? You putting do you want to try Byram and Kesselring? Do you want to try Power and Dahlin? I don't know. Maybe they split up
they split up the big three again. They throw Power on the third pair, but then guess what? Matthias Samuelsson's probably on your top pair again. Or if Owen Power is, if he doesn't click with Kesselring, then it's probably Connor Timmins, and it's like you want Connor Timmins in your top four. It's not. It's literally not like if this was the defense going in. Like if they added Michael Kesselring and Connor Timmins going into last season, I'd be like, okay, like they made a lot of changes, but it's like this whole offseason is now being based off the fact that their defense group is good. And it is one peg being knocked out from just the ripple effect that completely makes it a weakness of the team again.
Yeah, I mean, Christian has been saying it recently, like, Power is coming off an injury. If he does not, return to at least be his last year self, because I think, he kind of had, like, a little slump last year. He was still good, but he wasn't, the Power we've seen, the year before. If he just returns to his last year self, like, yeah, we're good. But if he, struggles a little to come out of the gate because he's not having a completely normal offseason, it might look rough to start off.
Yeah, it's the storyline that nobody's gonna want to talk about, but it could be the reality. And I don't know, like I don't. Like everything about it in a vacuum is fine. Like 2 years, $6.25 million. Like
yeah, it's good money actually.
Fair value.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's basically where you would have thought he would have landed if it was a 2-year deal. It's basically your decision is the can is kicked down the road. You don't have to address it probably until this year's deadline, until next year's deadline. It's we're just gonna wait and see how this plays out, sort of thing. But for me, there's only two ways I think this ends. Either, like, because there's only two scenarios, right? Or I guess maybe three. Like, either it goes great, it goes okay, or it goes bad. If it goes good, and the team's winning, and he's playing great, he's going to want a big raise that you can't pay him in 2 years. So you're probably going to have to trade him. If it's going okay, but the team is just doing okay, it's probably the same thing. I mean, maybe there's a scenario where you sign him to another deal like this afterwards if it's still a fine enough fit. Or it goes bad. The team sucks. He sucks. And you got to trade him. And it's probably for less. Every scenario, you wind up back here unless he signs another contract, which I just don't think that's going to happen. Everything, you're just kicking the can down the road to a time and a scenario that you so easily could have done now, and there's a good chance you will not have the trade value when that time comes again that you had right now. I mean, there's no reason that Bowen Byram couldn't have got you exactly what Keandre Miller got the New York Rangers. A first, a second, and a prospect. I don't know, maybe there was different, maybe you'd get different protections. Maybe the league or whatever team you'd be trading with values him differently than Carolina valued Keandre Miller. But I don't know, like, he signed a pretty similar deal to what Byram would have signed there. I see them as pretty comparable. And given Keandre Miller was maybe going to be the subject of an offer sheet and got traded for that instead, I would assume it's the same thing for Bowen Byram. He was maybe being threatened with an offer sheet, and the Sabres went, ew, I don't want picks. Decided to only look for an NHL player, probably a forward. Couldn't find that forward, and decided, we'll just re-sign him. That's where we are. This team does not want draft picks, and it pisses me off. So who cares if you can't get an NHL level player? Take the best deal. If a team was actually going to offer sheet them, I will be absolutely livid. An offer sheet, an unprotected first-round pick in next year's draft. I mean, look, there was rumors they were going to do it, and there was rumors they weren't. If the Calgary Flames were willing to give you an offer sheet and give you a first-round pick for Bowen Byram, I want every single person who makes decisions as to allow that to happen or to try and shoot that down, just just to be fired. Like, what are you thinking in that scenario? If there's an offer sheet on the table from a team like the Flames in a Gavin McKenna draft year. I mean, I know, I'm assuming worst case scenario here, but it's just I see these things happen, or I see the reports come out that the Sabres want NHL now players, NHL now, NHL now. Like, they're so dead set on making a heroic run to the playoffs next year, but still set their team up to come in 8th place. Like, if it's win now, do a win now. Don't do some half-assed bullshit type of offseason where a 20-year-old and a 21-year-old are anchoring your first line. A center that's barely ever touched above 70 games in a season is anchoring your second line, and a guy who has had career-altering injuries, mostly. I mean, we hope not. I mean, we've laid the groundwork for why we hope that's not the case. But Jack Quinn, he might be on the left wing in the top 6. Jack Quinn might be the guy they're expecting to replace JJ Peterka's production. These ideas are already bad, and they are made infinitely worse by the fact that this team is trying to break out of a 15-year playoff drought. Like, they're trying to go like this. If you ask them, this is their all-in push for the playoffs. All in, quote unquote. It would have aggravated the fan base so much, if they made, picks and prospects, not even like prospects, but just like young NHL player deals for Peterka and then even for Byram. It would have made them mad, and this season might have been a wash. They might not have made the playoffs, but it would have been an infinitely better vision to have those assets, have those picks, those prospects for Jarmo Kekalainen to use in a year's time when this inevitably fails. And honestly, even if it goes well, I mean, honest to God, if this team makes the playoffs next year, I still think Jarmo Kekalainen ends up as GM, because why else would he take this senior advisor job if that was not somewhat promised to him? So all of that, it just makes zero sense why you would not, it just doesn't make any sense to me why you just would not want to gather as much capital and flexibility for the next GM that will actually use it. Instead, you're kicking the can down the road and you're trading Dylan Cousins and JJ Peterka for assets that you're hoping add up to more than the sum. Like, you're hoping that, I mean, actually, at this point, I mean, Josh Norris doesn't even have any other parts because you didn't qualify Jacob Bernard Docker. So you're doing all these individual pieces, hoping, praying that it adds up to more than the whole, and you're pigeonholing yourself because you're asking for specific stuff, specific NHL players, instead of just trying to find the best deal possible. That's how you ended up with $8 million of Josh Norris instead of Marco Kasper and cap space for Dylan Cousins. It's why you end up with a return in JJ Peterka where, you're building off hope. A maybe in Michael Kesselring and a maybe in Josh Doan instead of actually searching for the best deal possible. Looking for a right-hand, you were so dead set on getting a right-handed defenseman, whether it was Byram and Peterka, and it cost you JJ Peterka.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough because I get where they are coming from in that they don't want futures because they want to win right now. So I'm not completely on the other side of the spectrum like you are on that, but my issue is like they completely avoid pick trades because they don't know how to multitask. They're just dead set on one thing, and that's all they worry about. And then, like you said, they pigeonhole themselves. Like, you can do both. You can trade Byram and get a pick and still get a decent player back. Or, same thing with Peterka. Like, if we get a second or third back in the Peterka trade, it already looks a lot better. It's just they can't multitask. But the biggest issue is that they're not going all in. Like, you would think a team that is on the verge of a 15-year playoff drought would make more moves to show that they're serious and they really want to win and they want to break this drought, and they're not making any big moves. Like, the only this is going to be a funny comparison. Who's the other team who has as long of a playoff drought as us in all the major sports?
The New York
Jets. Okay, what did they do last year? Okay, it didn't work out because, Aaron Rodgers. They went and got Aaron Rodgers. They traded for Devontae Adams. They signed other players for Aaron Rodgers. They went out and at least tried. I will give them credit. They tried. The Sabres barely try. Making one trade this offseason is not trying to get better. Like, it's crazy. They made their forwards worse and their defense better in one trade before the trade deadline, and then they did nothing after that. Nothing. Like, the New York Jets are, like, at the piss bottom of the NFL, just like us, but at least they're trying. I will give them credit for trying. We are not doing much. We're making lateral moves. Every single big move we've made is lateral. Cousins for Norris. At the end of the day, that's a lateral trade. Byram, Peterka for Kessler and Doan, it's basically lateral. You're getting worse at offense, no doubt, but you're definitely get better at defense. It's lateral. Like, we never make a move where it's like we need to get so much better that we are going to go all in, and our team's going to look so much better. Like, everybody around the league's going to be like, wow, like, the Sabres, like, they're making a push. They actually want to do something. Like, we just don't. Like, even look at the Nashville Predators 2 years ago, okay? It looks so bad right now. They signed all these old guys to aging contracts. At least they tried. The Sabres don't try. It's crazy. I'd rather take a giant home run swing and strike out than frickin' take these little bunts that they do just for lateral shit. They don't make any big swings.
No, what they try to do is they bunt, and then they try to make it a home run. They try to round the bases instead of just identifying that it's a bunt. It just go take your bag, take what's given to you, instead of trying to turn a fourth line and make that like the off-season poster image that we're going to be harder to play against.
And we all fell for it last year. We all fell for it, and it changed nothing. It changed nothing.
They were done by the first game of the season. I don't think they were ever. Abe Kubel got hurt night one. I don't think they ever played another game together.
Nope. I was not planning on getting this animated tonight, genuinely, but oh my god, I'll say it again. It's pathetic.
It's
pathetic.
It's infuriating for every angle you come from. How about from this point of view? All right, you know what? If this is your belief, like if you think, hey, you know what? If JJ Peterka is gone and Zach Benson's going to take his place, can I ask you something? Why is he not getting a contract extension ASAP? We haven't heard any rumbling. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're talking. I don't know.
I'll tell you why.
But if Zach Benson walks into game one of next season and he does not have an 8-year contract extension placed at his feet, what are we doing here? It's the same thing we were talking about this last year with Peterka.
And Quinn.
All right, like I was talking about it with him and Jack Quinn at the time. And even with Quinn, obviously it ended bad, but if you are of the belief that this is your guy and you are quote-unquote saving money for extensions, why are the extensions not being signed as soon as possible? If you believe that Jack Quinn is going to replace the production of JJ Peterka, why wasn't he given a longer commitment? He was signed after Peterka was traded. If Zach Benson is going to be your left wing one of the future and set up your 40 to 50 goal scorer for the next however many years, why isn't he getting a new contract immediately? I feel like I'm forgetting one. Like Kesselring. If Kesselring's a mainstay in your top four for years to come, right? Cheap, young, big right-handed defensemen are hard to come by in the NHL. He's making $1.4 million. Why is he not being... He should be signed immediately. Immediately he should be extended if you believe he's the piece of the future. They should have done it with McLeod last year. I mean, you probably could have walked into Ryan McLeod. You don't think you could have given him a 5 or 6 year deal immediately?
I think you
Look at
could,
the
but
deal. Look at the deal. Look at what Trent Frederick just got. You're telling me you could have thrown that at Ryan McLeod's feet last year? You could have had him sign for the next 8 years at like $3.5 million. But now he's a great player and he got paid accordingly. Like what does a 5-year deal for Ryan McLeod look like last year?
well, I don't disagree that it's better.
I'm saying if you believe, I'm just saying if that's your belief, like if we're saving money for extensions, why are you not just why? What's the holdup? Why are you waiting?
I,
Why are there no
I
extensions?
agree with that.
The Benson one is going to be if they walk into next season without giving him a contract, I will be livid, and every point that he puts up next season, I will be screaming at the television or just screaming in my head why you didn't get on this immediately. It's so obvious. He was due for a breakout before Paterka even left the organization. And now he's going to be placed next to Tage Thompson for the next 80 games.
Because it's a built-in excuse to say, we have to sign extensions next offseason, so that this is why we're not going to spend to the cap right now. It's a built-in excuse. That's what it is. That another part of this that isn't being talked about is, Byram, we just signed. We still have to sign Connor Timmins. We're probably going to end up with like $4.5 to $5 million left in the cap that we're not spending once again. Right now, with Byram signed, I believe we have the 7th most cap in the league. In a year where they're quote unquote all in, they want to make the playoffs, break the drought. They have a 7th most cap space in the league with only one player to sign, and he's your third pair 6th defenseman.
Don't forget about the golden boy Devin Levi. Don't forget. Just bringing it up.
It's just pathetic. I don't know. It's just I'd rather them take a big swing and a miss than what they are doing now. It's just very middling. It's very no urgency. It's I don't know. It's there's still a contingent of the fan base who's positive about this offseason, and I commend you because I wish I was still there. Last year I was still there. My tide changed like halfway through last year. Christian all of a sudden is there after being pretty negative for the past few years. Like I commend you guys. It's just from looking at it now, it's really tough to convince myself that this is a serious organization.
No one wants to be the guy that gives up on July 15th. That's what it is. You don't want to walk in to the next 3 months. You don't want to walk into the Prospects Challenge. You don't want to walk in to next training camp, and you don't want to walk into opening night telling yourself this team is not good or that this team is not going to make the playoffs. I think every year, genuinely every year except, probably the year they traded Eichel and had traded Reinhart and Risto the summer before, I think every year I've talked myself into them being a playoff team. I believed in the 22-23 team. Like I genuinely believe that team could have made the playoffs, like before it all nearly happened. And every Eichel era team, post his rookie season, I talked about like the 17-18 team. That team had Benoit friggin' Pouliot on their second line. They had Marco Scandella playing with Rasmus Ristolainen on the top pair, and like I talked myself into that team making the playoffs. And like this year, I'm still going to be able to do that, but it's just different. It's a much different. It's like, well, I guess if this happens or if this goes right, they've completely put themselves in so many different corners and they're asking for so much to happen to go right. Oh, wow, the situation looms in the distance. It's in the far distance, but it's visible. It's like it's like looking at Toronto from the Falls. Like Tage Thompson and Rasmus Dahlin are in years 7. This is year 7 going into 8. Is year 8. Well, it was 18-19, right?
Yeah.
It's what 18-19, 19-20. Yeah, year 8. This is year 8.
How do you
Like, that looms
How do you
large.
think Darlene is feeling right now after he talked to Kevin at the trade deadline, and Kevin gave him this plan that we're going to be better next year, and Darlene wanted us to get better. We made one move. One move. How do you think our franchise captain is really feeling about this team? And here's a question.
I worry more about Tage Thompson, because at least Rasmus Dahlin can look around and be like, all right, like, he probably likes playing with Bowen Byram. He probably looks at Michael Kesselring and be like, all right, that's a big help. And Connor Timmon, like, he probably looks at his group as being like, well, that's fine. It's Tage Thompson being like he's probably like, look, I really love Zach Benson. Yuri Kulik has so much potential, or even if it's like Josh Norris, he could be something. But my God, Tage Thompson's line mates have progressively gotten worse over the past 3 or 4 years.
And younger.
He's carrying around 2 teenagers, or none of them are teenagers anymore. One of them can't legally drink still, even though he does at Bills games.
Allegedly. Well, here's a question. If J.J. Peterka did not want out this offseason and he wanted to remain a Buffalo Sabre, what would they have done this offseason? Nothing. Literally nothing. Like, just put yourself in that mindset right now. J.J. Peterka's still in this team, so we don't have Kesselring, we don't have Josh Doan. It's the same roster. It's the same roster plus Alex Lyons and Connor Timmons and Justin Danforth.
It's true. I mean, yeah. You're looking at Justin Danforth or Alex Lyon as, like, you have to pitch to your fans that's your big look. Like, this is going to help us. We promise. I don't know. Maybe they, like, and maybe they do end up, like, attaching something to Byram, or maybe they go after, like, a worse right-hand defenseman than Kesselring. I don't know. It just feeds into my theory that legitimately they wanted Kesselring and Josh Doan. I would not have been surprised if they asked for literally the same return, but for Bowen Byram, and they said no. And they probably said heck no, and then Peterka asked out. So they're like, well, we'll kill 2 birds with 1 stone, but they really didn't. It's
just too many ifs going into a season. You shouldn't have this many ifs if you're serious and want to actually get better. Like, a serious team would go get some, NHL proven guys. Instead, it's just so many ifs, and we have so many injury possibilities. And I mean,
they're still the second youngest team in hockey. Like, they have still not, even if that's not even something I care about, but it's something that a lot of people care about. I think even they care about. It's the reason you kept Jason Zucker and Jordan Greenway. You're the second youngest team in hockey still. This has been a problem for 3 years. I'm not calling it a problem. Really, I do not have an issue with it. When all your young players are the good players, it's just kind of is what it is. But they haven't even, like, solved that from their point of view. Like, what have they solved this offseason besides finally getting Owen Power a partner 5 years after you should have done it?
that's literally it.
Well, you solved the third. You solved the third pair. Congratulations! For the first time since Kevin Adams has been GM, they have a passable third pair. One of those players one of the players on that pair is one of the most hated by the fan base, and honestly, given what the team was all about post deadline, showing a fight, responding when teammates get hit, like, he is the opposite of that mentality. But he's still here. Another player who was rumored to maybe be gone he's back for another season.
Yep. But 2 teams need a tango. 2 teams need to make a trade, because Kevin Adams can't just, make a big trade, make a statement move. He has to make a hockey trade. It's dumb. It's okay to overpay for someone if you're going all in. If you're going all in on an offseason and a team is making you put your first round pick out there or making you put Hellenius or Oslin out there, like, who cares? Like, if all goes wrong this year, once again, like, the future does not matter right now. It does not matter. Like, if all goes wrong, you're rebuilding once again. So you're going to start from the bottom up again. It doesn't matter which young guys you have. Like, make a big move, and they just didn't. I mean, last year, their biggest move was Savoy for McLeod. I'll give him props. But at the same time, it's still not like a big move. It was one prospect for one player. Why can't they ever just, like, go trade? I don't know. Like, we'll pay you Hellenius, our first, and Roseanne for this player to get better. Instead, it's, we'll give you Paterka for Kesselring. We'll give you Paterka, Hellenius, and a first for these three players, or this one really good player. We'll make a hockey trade, because that's what we have set in our mind.
Well, it's even like the example that I talked a little bit about and I just tweeted about. Like, looking back, why the hell didn't they just pay another third-round pick to have Matias Michelli in the J.J. Paterka trade? It makes zero sense. Like, they did not replace the left wing spot. Probably knew they weren't going to. And Michelli is like the exact type of player they do not have, a pure skilled playmaker. I mean, you do that, and suddenly, like, the top six is more interesting
and
it might
diversified.
Not be better
because we have one.
Yeah, you have options. You don't. You have Tage Thompson and Josh Norris. Those are two guys you need somebody to feed the puck, and if they're on the same line, okay, I guess you can have Zach Benson for the both of them. And the last game, Josh Norris was healthy for that was the line, but. If, when the season has its ups and downs and the lineup shifts and it changes and you just tweak things, Zach Benson can only play on one line. And that line, it means the rest of the lineup does not have a pure playmaker on it because the team has no other pure playmaker. You have Alex Tuck, who's an above-average playmaker, Jason Zucker, who's, like, passable, Jack Quinn, who you hope develops into a decent one, but wasn't good last year. Who else? I mean, maybe Josh Doan has some unexpected upside, but that remains to be seen. Jordan Greenway's not filling that.
Josh Norris
your
is
best
not
bet
filling that.
It's probably Ryan McLeod, but he's going to be your third line center. So that's just like the perfect example of, like, if you just would have done a little bit extra, just throw in a conditional third. It's not even like a playoff determined one. Matias Michelli would need to score 51 points, and it would upgrade to a second-round pick. You so easily could have done that same. You do that, and the Paterka trade looks infinitely better.
Issue is they don't have a second-round pick because that's all they trade.
Well, whatever.
They're just narrow-sighted.
It beats drafting some 6'3" defenseman that has, like, a long shot of being an NHL player, like they did with the rest of their picks this draft.
I don't disagree.
It's funny, you shouldn't be reacting like this on July 15th, and there's going to be, I know, like, if there's people listening that are probably, like, holy cow, guys, like, you need to reel it in. Like I said, blame Christian. He's on here. He would have been the one to help us out. But also, like, if I'm wrong, I will, like, throw my hand up and, like, say, hey, look, I'm wrong. If they made another trade, if somehow they trade for a top six forward, I mean, the defense is done. They're not adding another defenseman. But, if they make a trade for a top six forward or just something unexpected happens, I'll throw my hands up. Like, I was wrong. Adams did something.
Yep. I'll
But-
be happy if I'm wrong. Super happy.
Yeah.
I hope I'm wrong. But I don't know how
But-
anything the organization has done in the past 5 years can give you confidence that they're going to prove me wrong.
Or just even do something. Like in the last 5 years, what's the latest trade Adams made into the summer? What, it was Bluesky, who they traded in like mid-August? Okay, like that's something, but other than that, they didn't do anything last year. I mean, last year the took them till September to sign Peyton Krebs. I don't know. I don't think they've made a single late summer move.
I mean, not
So-
many teams do. Like, well,
No,
pretty much everybody's
the thing.
done by
Everybody's
now.
like, "Oh, the summer. There's so much time left in the summer." It's like, the free agency's over. There's no second free agency period. There's no second trade period or whatever to open up. Like, teams can do stuff whenever, and they just don't. Stuff is not done at this time of year. So I'm not going to give them the benefit of the doubt. They don't deserve benefit of the doubt.
exactly.
It's
Is there anybody even left out there as a free agent? The only name I've been seeing
Free
thrown
agent,
around is
like-
Jack Roslovic.
Raslovic's like the only middle six, like legitimate middle six guy. But I don't know, he's just a better version of Josh Doan and Jack Quinn, which it'd be an upgrade, but it's just I don't know. I would learn to live with it. Like I probably wouldn't hate it, but I doubt they do it.
I think they think they're done. There's every spot is quote unquote filled right now. You can definitely upgrade at spots, but they've made moves to fill every single open spot. I don't think they're going to try and upgrade anymore. Because if you were to try to upgrade somewhere, you would have to trade someone out probably, and I don't see them doing that with anybody.
They just re-signed their best trade chip.
yeah, like
That's what this is why the last 40 or so minutes has been screaming into the void, because their only path to an upgrade or just to a move period, he's staying.
Yep.
So what else are they going to deal?
Yep.
What are they going to? I mean, I don't know. Maybe they'll go in. They'll call the Penguins again, and they'll trade like Constantinius for Brian Rust. But I mean, what every other team in the league wants to be good. Saravalli named like 8 teams today that are like looking for a top 6 forward. Everybody wants to be good.
And the Sabres were not
There's
in that
nothing-
list, by the way.
The Sabres were not in that list, yeah. But everybody wants to be good, and there's one team in the whole league that identifies themselves as bad, and it's the Penguins. And even them, like, I think I saw like Raquel would rather stay. Like it's basically just Brian Rust, and I mean I would not be a fan of that move, but that's like your only option. I mean it's either you trade for Brian Rust or you probably don't have anything else. And then even then, the Rust thing that felt like more of a draft night move. So you're done. This is it. This is the roster. This is what you are walking into year 15. And it's funny because there's a good chance that the opening night lineup, the team, the roster that they ice, could have been predicted before free agency even started.
Yeah.
Because the Peterka trade happened, when it did. And you could have projected if Justin Danforth and Connor, Timmins would have been on the roster. So if Justin Danforth is not in the lineup, and if Alex Lyon isn't starting in goal, this lineup was done. Like their job was in a way done before free agency even started.
Yeah. I mean, since the Wednesday before free agency, because that's when Peterka was traded, I believe, they have not made a significant move. Free agency was on a Tuesday, so 6 days prior to free agency. So that would have been, June 25th? Is that when June 24th?
Well, I mean, the Timmins trade happened. The Timmins trade happened on that Saturday.
I'm talking about a meaningful move.
All right, yeah. I'm talking about the whole thing. I want to be fair to that. But yeah. Your starting 6 remains untouched.
Mm-hmm. You can make an argument you're starting 9. I mean, we don't know where Doan is going to play yet, but obviously the McLeod, Greenway, and Zucker line did work last year.
Yeah. Well, I was referring to their
Oh,
top line, two defensemen and a goalie.
I see.
But I mean, you're not really wrong. Forward wise, definitely not.
They just moved out a guy. That's it.
Yep.
Well, I hope we're wrong, because if not, our opinion on this team is just going to keep going down and down, even though it's right near the bottom.
Yeah. I hope they got him wrong.
Mm-hmm.
People will call me a doomer. People will say I don't want them to succeed. That is not true. That is not true whatsoever. This is the first time I have ever been this I promise these next 3 months are gonna fly by, because it's just there's no real fun anticipation. I was actually thinking the other day, I miss the team. I miss watching them play. Of course I miss them, and I would rather skip ahead to October. But it's not gee, I can't wait to see. I can't wait to see Michael Kesselring next season. I can't wait to see Josh Doan play on the fourth line. It's just I miss hockey, and I miss watching them, and it's sad, man. It's such a depressing. You can't excite a fan base. It's easy. We got excited last season. Sure, a new head coach, but the McLeod thing and the new, they sold us on a new bottom six.
I think there was 5 new guys in the bottom 6. That's a substantial change.
Yeah.
That's a substantial change to your roster. They did not do that this year.
I guess it depends what you're. They still made a substantial change. I don't know. What's more impactful, 1 JJ Peterka or 5 bottom 6 guys?
I mean, 1 JJ Peterka is definitely more.
Yeah. My point is more so just everybody sees through the bullshit. Everybody sees through the facts. If you ask Kevin Adams, what am I supposed to get excited about here? He's going to be talking about their second pair and their Josh Doan on the bottom 6, and it's God.
And he'll be talking about internal growth. He'll be talking about Benson, Kulik, Quinn. It's the same story for the last few years. Which I'm all for. I'm all for these young players that we have growing and getting better, but maybe help them and bring in a player to play alongside them.
Well, but it once again goes into okay, if you positioned yourself, if you did a silent retool sort of thing, if most people are looking at the Sabres and going man, they suck, they're not trying to be good, or they didn't do enough to be good, and we're sitting here being all right, if you look closer, it's pretty obvious, they're gathering more assets, trying to, maybe they're gonna wait this out, they're gonna try and be a competitive team, but also have a stake in the McKenna race, and then next season Kekalainen has the reins, and then we go from there. This year, it's this is the roster they're trying to be good with. They're trying to make the playoffs, and it's not good enough. I mean, it cannot be understated that this is not an acceptable offseason, even if it ends in success. It's bad process, even if it leads to good results. It is a bad process from day one. They replaced a top 6 addition with Jack Quinn and or Jason Zucker. They quote-unquote reformed the defense, but 3 of the faces in the top 4 are the same.
Yep. And I think at the end of the day,
pathetic.
What still might be the biggest disappointment is that it's the same coaching staff too. I'm sitting here thinking our power play. If our power play is just decent next year, we could be a playoff team. If our power play gets better, it might be able to reproduce what we lost with Peterka. I don't think that's crazy to say. But we have the same coaching staff and basically the same players going into our power play next year. It blows my mind. I mean, there were more
Same
coaching
everything.
changes yesterday. The Edmonton Oilers changed like 3 guys on their coaching staff. We haven't changed anybody. It's
I think the Sharks did a bunch of stuff
yeah,
today.
it's that really blows my mind. Probably the most of anything that they're going into this with the same coaching staff after their power play was disgusting, and they were just not that good last year.
If you were to rank what the most shocking parts of the offseason were, genuinely, if you were to rank Peterka being dealt, Byram staying, the coaches staying, and I don't know, like their best non-trade move being like Justin Danforth. Like, what's the most shocking? It might be the coaches. They're all pretty shocking, but it might be the coaches. I can't believe not. I mean, poor Ed Gannon. Pour one out for Ed Gannon, but the entire coaching staff that stands on the bench stayed the same.
Lindy Ruff has never hired a single coach. He's been here for 2 years.
How are their Granado guys still on this bench? And on the staff,
There's a Kruger
Matt
guy
Ellis,
still here.
Marty Wilford.
Mike Bales is still here. He's back from
That's
Kruger.
Right. Yeah. Mike Bales was a Kruger coach after like 6 of the 7 years being awful goaltending
one
years.
good goaltender year. One.
He had one, and they neutered the hell out of their offense to do it. They were one of the most boring teams to watch that season. All in service of, having a really good year for Mikko Pekka. But that's it. 1 year.
And the franchise golden boy, like Jonah said earlier, who I still have faith in, Levi has really not.
He's taken zero steps.
He's
in the
taken
NHL.
0 steps.
He's taken 0 steps. 0. None. Zip. Nada. He's arguably gotten worse from his debut.
When they trade for Levi, they're probably talking to Bales and saying, like, hey, this is your guy. This is about to be our franchise guy. He was probably super excited. And respectfully, what has he done with it? I don't like
why.
Like, it's tough to. I feel bad a little for calling out coaches by name because at the end of the day, they're not on the ice, and maybe they are doing a good job, and the players just suck. Like, I feel bad for calling out guys specifically, but like, come on, man, like. What have they actually
you have Craig
done?
Anderson right there. Craig Anderson is right there.
Yeah, wait.
He's right there. He was basically a coach for them anyways. He was brought out of retirement to do Mike Bell's job. That's what he was done. That's what they did.
Yep.
He was there to mentor the young goalie, but like even the season he came out of retirement, Luukkonen didn't even make the roster. Incredible, man. Incredible. Every angle you just break down. It's just the worst run team on every level. Every level. I can't believe it, man. They're wasting the prime of 2 of the most talented players to ever play for the franchise. They are wasting the prime of the best defenseman to ever play for the franchise. And they're wasting the talent of the best goal scorer probably since LaFontaine or McGillney played for the team. Yep. Incredible.
Well, there's gonna be nothing left to talk about this entire offseason, so
I think we aired everything out.
Yeah. We'll have Christian's rebuttal.
Yeah.
Rebuttal. We'll have his rebuttal in about a week or 2, and we'll see what he says. But, yeah. I was not planning on getting this animated because, like, when it happened last night, I was just like, of course. Like, this is our roster. But it's disappointing. It's tough to get excited about. I need a break from this team. Thank God Bill's training camp is starting next week. Genuinely, like I at least will be able to cling on to something else for some time.
I don't think I share that. It's training, like it's an NHL training camp. I don't get excited for. So
I get myself excited for NFL training camp.
whatever. Happy for them, I guess. Can't wait to see Kevin Adams there.
Yep, and Yarmo and
He'll
Terry.
and Yarmo.
Terry's gonna be all over.
Oh man, is there anything else we didn't touch on Byram related?
The one thing I'm surprised about, I think it is pretty clear. I don't think Byram really wanted to go anywhere. Like it wasn't Peterka, so I know I will give him credit there. But there were rumors that he wanted to be a number one defenseman. At the end of the day, he probably just wanted power play time, and I don't think anything really changed unless they finally go with two defensemen on the power play, which I really wouldn't be opposed to. But then again, it's not like Byram or Power have an above average shot, so
I don't know. I don't believe in two defenseman power plays. A, because it's not fun. B, I don't think it usually works. But
if they have a good shot, I don't think it's a bad idea.
I think he was very much open to staying. I just think he wanted to get paid, and the Sabres were not going to pay him. So he's probably like, well, I'll go and get paid somewhere else. Nobody else. I don't think anybody else wanted to pay him. I mean, the reports were coming out. He wanted $9+ million. No team was going to do that, clearly. So he decided, probably said to himself, well, no other team is, I'm not going to, probably not going to be able to play next to a top 5 defenseman on the planet. And, maybe teams were offering less. Maybe 6.25 was more than what other teams might have offered. So, I don't know. Plus, the deal walks him to free agency. If he's on the Sabres till then, he probably walks to free agency, and if not, he gets dealt and probably still walks to free agency. So
that was probably part of his deal in signing here. He's like, okay, I'll do this, but you got to walk me to free agency. I feel like that was definitely part of it.
Definitely.
But I feel like it genuinely is at a good dollar point. So I really can't complain about the deal.
It's fine.
It's the overall concept.
I don't hate the dollar. Yeah, it's fine. It just feels like $6 million that maybe could have been. It definitely could have been spent better, but it wasn't spent horribly. It's fair enough, I suppose.
I think we're towards the top of the league in defense spending now.
Connor Timmins isn't even signed yet.
Yeah. Because I believe they were talking about on Sabres Live, we have 4 defensemen in the top 95 paid.
Oh, God damn it, Samuelson.
Yeah. So, if you think about 32 teams, 128 top 4 defensemen theoretically in the league, we have 4 in the top 100. So
it must equate to skill, right? It's gotta.
And that's with Kesselring being very cheap for a right-handed defenseman.
They're cheap, yeah. I guess you could look at it as Kesselring's making what Samuelson, if you swap their salaries.
Yeah, you could. But I have a feeling that Kesselring ends up working out, which I think he will, and I hope he does. That, a year or 2 down the road when we have to give him a big payday, we're going to be like, oh, this was a steal. How come we weren't using that cap space that we saved on Kesselring for something else? Because we've been saying that about Tuck.
Or, maybe we should have extended him earlier.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yep. I mean, with this being the end of the offseason, this officially marks the end of the Sabres window, with Alex Tuck being on the best contract in hockey, arguably, and him and Tage Thompson making a combined $11 million, $12 million. Insanity that they never took advantage of that once. It's nice to say. It was nice to be like, wow, they don't make a lot of money. And then for Terry Pegula, the conversation just ends there. instead of, well, maybe we should do something with that money. Nope. Nope. Inexcusable. All right. I thought there was one more thing I wanted to bring up Byram related, but I don't recall. Oh, are you excited for the next maybe 2 years of Owen Power and Bowen Byram debates?
Oh, no. I'm not excited. I've already seen people talk about trading Power now that we re-signed Byram. No thanks.
Better sign up for it.
I think Christian was already talking about it. I think he was saying, I
He
could talk
was.
myself into trading Power for a top six forward.
That son of a bitch. He was like, okay, maybe we trade Power, and it's like, dude, what are you doing?
It's funny because trading Power really does not solve anything. Because then you lose,
No,
like, neither Byram or Kesselring are
I
number
don't-
2 defensemen in this
I
league.
genuinely do not think. I don't know what you could trade Power for, like realistically, and you being a better team coming out of it because you have one playable defenseman. Then.
Even if Kesselring turns out to be really good, like,
Yeah, okay. Even if Kesselring is decent, he's playing with Rasmus Dahlin most likely. You have one playable pair then.
yeah, it doesn't solve anything. You could have,
No.
like, if you would have traded Byram, you probably would have, had to have made some other addition, and you would have been fine. But trading Power does not solve shit. It makes more problems. So I can't wait for that conversation these next 2 years.
All right. I think, did we air out everything? Maybe we should stop even if we didn't.
Yeah. Sorry for all the negativity, I guess.
Yeah.
Some people don't like it, but I have to be honest to myself.
Exactly.
I might have been dishonest to myself in the past few years, but I'm going to be honest now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. We wouldn't be doing right by you folks at home if we weren't telling you exactly what we thought. Like, this is what we think. We don't like. I freaking hate being negative. I mean, my God, we introduced a segment last year called the Concernometer. We got rid of it because it got too goddamn miserable.
We had big plan. Well, I'm not going to say big plans, but we had plans for last year to be a lot more structured and to have segments and all this stuff, and we threw it out the window after the team started to shit the bed and went on the 13-game losing streak. That's how now it turned from we wanted it to be an organized Sabres, podcast. It just turned into ranting because that's how this team is.
Well, it's not even ranting. It's just instead of being like, oh, what a great win, this was great, yada yada yada, and then having some fun towards the end, it just became dissecting their issues, and that would take a whole episode or two or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, how many episodes were overtaken by trade rumors? And I mean, we got invested into the Elias Pettersson conversation for like 4 or 5 episodes. It sucks. We don't want it to turn like that. I mean, here's a funny story. Somehow, I promise I did not go in and like just randomly listen to it. Because I listen. I think what I used to do is I used to listen when I would upload the pod. It would go onto Apple Podcasts sooner, like before it appeared on Spotify. I think that's what it was. So what I would do is that then I would just hit play on the Apple Podcast, listen to it, for a few seconds, see if everything went great, and then turn it off, go to bed, or post about it on social media. I've since stopped. Like I've been stopped doing that. I stopped doing that for a few years. I think I just started to just trust that it would be uploaded, post about it in the morning, whatever. That's just what I would do. So I think basically what happened was I got in the car, and I think I closed the Spotify app by accident, like on my phone. But then I tried pressing the play button on my car, thinking it would autoplay Spotify again, and it didn't autoplay Spotify. For some reason, it jumped to Apple Podcasts, and it autoplayed an episode, not of the Sabre Report podcast, not of the Sabre Roundtable, a Royal Roundtable
Oh,
episode.
jeez.
And it was the week that they were playing the Panthers
Oh, my God.
after Levi had debuted. Like, I listened to it for like 10 minutes. We were talking about, like, they had 4 goalies on the roster. Which goalie should they start? Just like storylines, and it was a lot more hopeful. We were having fun. It was fun to talk about a playoff race, and that was towards the end, obviously, and it kind of made me sad. Like it legitimately, I was like, damn, like I don't even remember being that hopeful at that moment because it was such a big hill to climb to make the playoffs at that point. And I just, you just seem infinitely happier. And it stinks. Like, I hope to God, like, even if the team frustrates the hell out of you, last season was so horrible just because they were never in it past December. Like, that's insane. I think we're going to look back on that in a few years' time, just years down the road, and be like, man, that season might have been, like, our worst to cover ever just because they were never in it, period. Like it's kind of nuts to think about that we recorded on a weekly basis, broke down games, and yada 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 for like 4 or 5 months post basically elimination. Like they were eliminated as soon as that losing streak happened. So, I guess the moral of the story is like, I hope that at the very least, like we're talking about playoff implications, and I hope that. My God, like the bar is so low. Just like I just hope they're in the race, like just to like make it interesting from a content perspective. Because yes, it is miserable to hear us be miserable, and I get upset like thinking about like how miserable we must sound at points, and sometimes it's therapeutic to let off steam. But yeah, like this episode was therapeutic. We got stuff off our chest that had been building for a long time. We wanted, we were waiting to see what happened with Byram because we knew it would be the last move of the offseason with any significance. And now that we know what it is, it was time to let off some steam. But there's other episodes from the moment the season ended to when the Stanley Cup was raised and we were recording on a weekly basis. Like it's tough. It's tough to not only, discuss storylines, but also discuss them in a positive light. When you don't really feel that confident. So, like I said, moral of the story, I hope from a podcast perspective and talking, and my God, like Sabres Twitter is just like, it's a graveyard, man. Everybody's just dead inside. Like, I just hope that, the next 3 months are going to suck, but I hope when the season does end that, that starts to turn around a little bit.
Well said. It's a pretty miserable experience to be a Sabres fan right now. And being a quote-unquote content creators like ourselves doesn't make it much better.
All right, folks. Well, I won't keep you around any longer. Thank you very much for listening. If you haven't already, be sure to follow us on Twitter, also on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at The Sabre Report. If you listen to this on YouTube, thank you very much for listening. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. And, of course, tell us what you think in the comments. Obviously, this Byram conversation isn't going to be, it's not going to really have a consensus. I'm sure there's a lot of people listening that love him and are maybe shocked to hear that we were so down on him, or just down on the situation overall. So give us your thoughts. Be sure to share what you thought.
Rip.
And aside from that,
Rip the Josh Norris fan club. Bowen Byram fan club, the Twitter user, it will remain.
The Bowen Byram fan account does
The
live
curse
to
ends.
fight another day. The curse might have ended. We'll see. We shall see. As always, go give our friends over at the Buffalo Sports Talk podcast a listen. Obviously, training camp is coming up, but most importantly, they have a special episode up next, potential interview with somebody important, so stay tuned for that. And at some point, we are going to be getting together with the guys over at Buffalo Sports Talk to do our yearly Buffalo Sports Trivia episode. JP's been hard at work drafting that up. Now we're just trying to figure out the scheduling, so that should be on the way. But other than that, I think that's everything. So, JP, if you don't have anything left to say,
I have a take that I want to.
you're saving this for now.
No. I'm saving it for when Christian is back because I have a take. It's not even sports related, but I have a feeling it'll be an interesting reaction from you two.
It's not even a sports one.
No.
Okay.
But I want to put it out there because I truly do believe in this take, but I need Christian to be on to have this take. So we'll leave that for the end of next episode, which might be in a few weeks because
we
Christian's
don't know.
out of town this weekend, and then Jonah's out of town for a week. So hopefully nothing happens because I might be the only one like around, and you don't want me.
Well,
on a
always
live
happens
stream.
when Christian is gone. I think we need to just lock Christian in Florida or in Saratoga, wherever he go. I mean, was he in Florida? Remember when he was in last season? He was jokingly like sending us pictures of palm trees for like a week.
Yeah,
Was that Florida?
yeah.
So everything fun happens while he's in Florida. Well, not fun. I mean, they kind of had a historic losing streak, but interesting stuff happens when he's gone.
It's true. Maybe it will happen with you
That
when you're gone.
McLeod trade.
Oh, I forgot
Byram
McLeod.
resigning.
Yeah, he was gone. That's right.
He was driving to Saratoga.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was hoping it
Maybe
was going to
something
be
interesting
me
happens.
when I went to Colorado in January, and I brought my mic with me because that's when the
Was that
the Pedersen trade
saga?
talks were at
Ah,
the
that
very
hurts.
highest. I was
That hurts. Dude, we were talking about Pedersen mock trades earlier this year. What the hell
Yeah.
happened? God, that hurts. That hurts. We'll see.
Yeah.
Obviously, stay tuned to our socials, folks. We'll let you know if anything's on the way, anything's imminent, if we're recording. So be sure to do that. All right. Thanks for listening once again. We'll see you guys next time. And as always, go Sabres.
Go Sabres.